UFOs?
Need some advice, Rockhead. Make sure you get drunk or hit a stick of PCP before you go over there.
Ooh, you saw alien?
Keep shit cool, nigga. Everybody.
Yeah. Light your blunts. Get your drinks. Show's about to begin. Welcome to the Goose Show. We got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed you. Talk about the flying saucers, seeing from the building. Higher than I'm feeling, they look back in the Goose Show. They abducting the human race. Aliens appearing and moving in outer space. Ancient text mentions them sharing wisdom with all. But humans don't be listening, rather start them a war. Fucking off the planet, pollution causing the damage. I'm chilling in Pomona where homies talking in Spanish. Let the world know about Pomona teaching the mass. Shout out to Kev Mac, Omar Bradley and my kids. My wife and two, because they know I'm a survivor. 5 shots couldn't take me down cause I'm a rider. Then was on the ventilator, still I had to rise up. Telling y'all the truth, man, I'm here to remind you. It's only up for me from now to the future. Thanks for your support and I'ma give you what you used to. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding what they demanding. So look out for the aliens, they landing. The Goose Show, we got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed you. Talk about the flying saucers, seeing from the building. Higher than I'm feeling, they look rather appealing. The Goose Show, we got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed you. Talk about the flying saucers, seeing from the building. Higher than I'm feeling, they look rather appealing. The Goose Show.
Welcome to the Goob Show. I am Goob. I'm on the representation on this YouTube shit. Welcome everybody in here that has came in. My camera is tripping, so I'm gonna have to do it this way, see how this works. But it's all good. Year anniversary show. Can't believe I've been on here for a whole year. Shit is crazy. But I always wanted to try something, maybe get out of my element without my face being seen all the time and seeing my own movements on the computer and whatnot. Maybe this will get me a little different, open me up a little bit, get a little bit different aspect of change of what I've been doing for a year. It's going to be also the 2-year. This occurs on Sunday. Sunday will be my year that I've been on this, man. 2 years since my mom passed. I started this on that day. So it has some significance in me doing it on this here Friday. Because I knew I wasn't going to do it on Sunday. The Steeler game will be on. I don't want to mess up nobody else's fun like me looking at my team that's not playing up to par, even though we did get a win. Couple things, like I said, on this Friday, because it's a year anniversary in which I started this YouTube shit, not knowing what I was going to do. My first ever video that I did has more views than any other video. I think it's had 1,600. Man, that's a lot for me, you know. KCL say, what up, Goob? Been a while, but I'm back. How's your health, dude? I'm doing all right, my brother. While we speaking of that, I just 2 days ago actually got my hospital bill. Well, from one hospital, one doctor. They're gonna have to show me an itemized, some kind of itemized, but this is the bill. I don't know if you can see it. If you can see how much that is right there. June 8th, to June 20th. I got out the hospital the day after Father's Day. They charged, I owed them $181K just on hospital bills. So yeah, my health is doing good, but I'm gonna have to play the lotto. I'm gonna have to play the lotto to get that up off me. Um, Other than that, it's been cool. I've been seeing a lot of different UFO videos, um, a lot of different shit in the news. And as I said, when I made this show, the Goob Show, is just something different. UFOs is my main subject in here. My main basis of what I wanted to do this, start doing this live for. Um, at some time I get to 100K. The reason I've cut off my intro of it being too long, one, my wife said my intro was too long. Two is I play a lot of people music, and then later on I get hit. Whether it's a copy strike, so I know that if I ever do start getting monetized, they getting their money took. I mean, they getting money out of my videos. Salute, Michelle. Appreciate you stopping through. You say, were we mad? uh, mad when I seen that bill. Um, but more and more in the news, and I've spoke of it, the asteroid they don't talk too much about. Um, I thought this show would be just a different aspect all around, but mainly my UFO points of view of what I believe in. And that's all I'm here, to try to open up. On UFOs, um, well, I got this, what I'm finna do now. I got a few videos um, because I've posted videos all week. This is going to be an end week of the videos that I can speak on that I just uploaded up for y'all to see, and then we can look at them ourselves. This one, I'll start with this one. And I believe this was in Missouri. Let me see if I can move down. But what I want y'all to look at is this light that's in front of this truck. And this is the end part of it. I think I've shown this. And as you can see, it's in the middle of the road. It's a dark road. This was uploaded on Reddit. You can clearly see that that's not. I mean, if you want to look at the lights, you'll look at that being a car in the sky. What's good with your cowboy? What's the business? This ain't nothing today. Like I say, it's Free Friday. Um, it's been a year since I came on this YouTube shit. Uh, I know I didn't expect, when people say, well, Goob, your numbers ain't a lot of people that jumped off maybe a year or even less than me. Oh, their numbers is sky high. They monetized. They're all that. I get that. But I get that their genre and my genre is totally different. For a lot of motherfuckers that's streetwise, or you know what I'm saying, so-called want to be in the streets or whatever, never gonna believe in the UFO till they see it. Me myself, I'm from the streets. I seen it already. All I be trying to tell them, when you see it, just say, "Hey, that nigga Goob that didn't even have 1,000 motherfucking subscribers was saying that shit." And it's not just me. It's a lot of us. Secure Team 10, subscribe to his channel. I fuck with him a lot. UFO Sightings Daily with Scott Waring. Some of his videos you'll see me put up on here. Another one, Gina Marie, Colvin Hill. She talks about, she was the one that put me up on the observatory. And I just happened to be filming it, and I always film it, and I'll come up with something because a lot of things happen around that observatory in Hawaii. She put me up on that, so it's a lot of people that's in this genre. Bruce sees all. Man, it's a lot, and that's my area that I like to stay in. You know, even though I do, fuck with um, gang channels or niggas that talk about gang. Nigga, I gang bang. So it's only right for me to do that. But at this time in my life, I love this more. This is something interesting to me. This is something that technology can't explain. Scientists aren't able to explain it. NASA can't explain it. Don't want to explain it. Know that it's there. It's things that they're not going to tell us. But we seeing it more and more. Why? Because the advancement of, I got a video of a door cam catching the UFO flying, and the visuals of this UFO. This is just a car. This is just somebody that had a camera on his car, on his truck, driving through the back seat, and he captures that. That's another angle of it. Let me back up just a tad bit. Here it is. Now watch when it goes over. The lights there. There's always the Trinity. There's always three lights. You know what, cowboy? That is a good question. I have a homie. I just spoke to him about that. He told me that he believes that the Earth is flat, and I had to. How do you? If everything in the sky is spherical, meaning it's a circle, a sphere, why aren't we a sphere? What would make us flat and all the rest, everything else out there not spherical? I don't. So, but there's a lot of people that believe that the earth is flat. Like if we go to a certain point of it, you're going to fall off the earth. But this video here was real strange. Now, this is the beginning. That was more the end, the last part of it. This is basically the beginning right here when it goes across. Makes a turn. He hasn't moved the camera. He hasn't done anything. Yeah, I'm not sure what they own, but it's a lot of people. I like to get somebody on here that to explain to me why they think that the earth is flat. The homie neighborhood real. He believes that the earth is flat. Me and him had a conversation of that. You know what I'm saying? If he happened to check in or something, I had to get him on here to explain, his reasoning of why he thinks it. Kyrie thinks the same thing. I mean, there's so many people that believe that the earth is flat. This is mysterious orbs over Brooklyn. I posted this midweek. Not sure he got like 30, 40 views. You know what I'm saying? But I posted this, like I say, in the middle of the week. What I've been doing is I'm going to try to, because it's so hard for me to go live and get anybody. Look, I got five people in here, and they probably, they fuck with me. They believe in this shit. Most of the others are somewhere else on somebody other channel getting that knowledge from them. That's fine. Maybe people will look at mine later and give me them views. I'm cool with that. I don't have a problem with that. But you're gonna mind somebody when it comes to shit that's not on this earth. Sooner or later, it's whether you believe me and think I'm a farce and just a nigga just talking out the side of his neck. There's too many people that's recording this shit every day. Every day. I'm not getting these record. We can say everything is fake. Everything can't be fake. Everything can't be CGI. Once we get out of that, the person that believes that 90% of they believe that Trump didn't take them documents to his house. He was set up. The FBI dropped him there. The media put him in his desk. The same people that's saying, nah, it ain't shit up there coming to us. Oh, okay. Everybody has their beliefs up to the full. This one was mysterious orbs on a fleet over Brooklyn. Goob, your channel, cool, no drama. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because the chat is my friend. You know what I'm saying? If you here looking at this, you are cool. You somebody that want to believe, that want to get an understanding. What's CB? What's good with you, my brother? Appreciate you stopping through. And I'm fine with that, cowboy. You know what I'm saying? I like how my shit go, no controversy. I try to keep that down as much as possible. But every once in a while I get that this nigga's an idiot type shit. Or because this is what I talk about, I'm not hood. I ain't gangster. I ain't been there. I started gang banging after high school. All type of shit. Man, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But you have to check my resume for you talking. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been places a lot of niggas wasn't made out for and didn't make it through in whatever time they had to do it. This is what I like to fuck with. My niggas been knowing that's 100% my niggas. No, I don't get that nigga on no damn goob on no damn UFOs, man. You know that nigga ain't gonna stop talking about space. Nigga, I've been doing this 30 years. Now I got a platform to do it. And this is what I love to do. So like I said, I appreciate everybody that come through, man. It's a year anniversary. It's been a year. In 2 days, 2 years since my mom passed is what I started this thing to give a record of my life and my thoughts. And maybe it can be brought down to my generations, my grandkids or whatever, my kids to my grandkids and their kids. All the way down is something. But by then, they gonna know that dad or grandpa, we knew what the hell he was talking about these UFOs because we seeing them every day now. So here's another one, July 6th of this year, over Brooklyn, New York. Now it doesn't have any sound. I took, because it wasn't nothing but air of somebody filming outside. But you can clearly see 3 orbs. Some people may say they're stars. The thing of it is if we never look up, and I always say this, if we don't look up, we never know that they up there. Did you see how bright that one got? And they're steadily moving. Most people would think in that order they could be planes. But if anybody looks up, planes have a distinctive blink of lights. It's not the whole plane glowing or blinking lights like these are. You know, some people will say um, orbs, but orbs don't glow like this. Now, if they get the technology to do that, okay, they would surely let us know that they had them, unless they're using them for military purposes. As you can see, it's four of them floating. One just disappeared. And they just going across the sky. There's another one that appeared just out of the blue over in the left hand corner. And he was pretty steady with it. This is a different angle of farther out before he zooms in on it. And this is shot from my boy from UFO Sightings Daily. I got to shout him out, Scott Wing. He's over in Taiwan. Um, a lot of videos that I've noticed that he catches, I kind of catch over on Reddit. You know, Reddit is a good place to get videos, and that's where I got um, a lot of these videos. But I do use um, UFO Sighting Daily and Scott Wing's videos as well because he gives permission to use them. I'm not just stealing his shit and not putting his name out there. I remember I used to just take people's shit and do that without putting them or giving them a shout out. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't cool. Um, so I've been on this year, on this journey. You know, like I say, this is a year of doing this shit, man. I still haven't gotten it all down pat. Let's put it that way. I'm still learning it. I don't know how to do shorts yet. I see a lot of people doing shorts. I don't know how to do shorts yet. I'll learn it sooner or later. Reddit is just Google Reddit, man, and put in UFO. Like UFO Reddit. They have different Reddits. The one I use is UFO um, Reddit. Hold on. What I'll do, I'm gonna pause after this video because that's the end of that video. So what I'm gonna do, take this off. I'm gonna share. I'm gonna go to where UFO and show you what UFO Reddit is, cowboy. Um, let's see. See, I learned how to share my screen. If anybody looks at my first video was um, about my, you know, my homies that I lost, my loved ones that I lost. And see, that's what people fail to realize here. I'm not here to bullshit anybody about my gang banging background or um, how I got into it. Me and a lot of niggas that fuck with me, we never wanted to get into gang banging. It just for us, you got to understand, we grew up in the 80s. I'm a class of 84. So from 80 to 84, a lot of us, man, wanted to go to school. Whether we were doing what we were doing in school, we didn't consider it gangbang. I didn't consider it gangbang. I considered it this. If my niggas that did do what they were doing at that time were at Grand Central Station, Chino Skateway, or anybody that was in the class 84 that wasn't doing that, it was a Gary thing back then. It wasn't about Southside Village in totality. It was Gary. If you went to Gary, if you lived in the village, if you went to school there, and you seen your niggas that you had to go to school the next day and see, and they were at the club fighting and you didn't fight, boy, there was a problem when you got back to school. This is pre game bang. But I love to get into that aspect little by little, because like I said, this is a UFO channel. I'm about to make me some Moonwalker shirts. You know, get back to what I established was Moonwalkers. Um, got a couple other shirts. Conversation ain't shit, my nigga. Elko always say that. Here's UFO Reddit. I didn't talk myself. So right here, Cowboy is UFO Reddit, right? So if I go to the top, see they have like this, the UFO Reddit, and then you have different ones. Um, you have UFO. Like if I go in here, just regular UFO here. So it's different Reddits with UFOs, and they talk about they're just like what do you call them? Fuck, I don't really know what you call them. What the hell happened? The page and not found. Hold on. I'm not sure what happened to my Reddit. There it is. So this is UFO Reddit, and down here they give you like different, like this pilot reported a sighting today out his window. You know, and it's different things like this. Like let's play this.
Unidentified aerial phenomena. That's what NASA calls them, buzzing around the U.S. skies and coastlines.
All right, so of course we needed to call on NBC's Gotti Schwartz to check out what's going on. Hey, Gotti, morning.
Hey, guys, I know what a lot of people are thinking. They're seeing those videos and they're like, wait, what is that? But you got to know that we're talking to pilots, very trained pilots. And we just talked to a pilot. Before we tell you his story, you should know this guy is a former fighter pilot. He's a helicopter pilot, jet fighter instructor, has several degrees in things like meteorology. Oh, and before all this, he never really took UFOs seriously, but that all changed this month when he started to see lights that seem to appear out of the Big Dipper and start flying in these strange patterns, all while tracking his plane.
Over the last several months, there's something unexplainable appearing in the night, from the skies over Missouri to above the Pacific Ocean.
It's not satellite. It's not a
What's good with you, Ant?
Baffling pilots
Appreciate you stopping through.
I don't know what the common denominator is, but it's always the bottom of the Big Dipper.
Mark Holsey is a former F-18 fighter pilot. This August, he was piloting a private jet off the coast of Los Angeles when he says he saw as many as 7 mysterious objects appearing to fly thousands of feet above him. This is audio from that night alerting air traffic control.
Roger. Yeah, I don't know. You're not entering any military airspace or anything. I'm not sure.
The clip obtained by Ben Hansen, a researcher who has spoken to dozens of pilots of commercial flights that have recently had similar encounters.
Yeah,
So it seems like it
good with
might
you,
be
bro.
getting more frequent.
It's either getting more frequent or it's getting noticed more.
Okay, there it is.
But while no one seems to know what they're seeing, Holsey is sure these fast-orbiting objects aren't satellites or any known military aircraft.
There's nothing that flies that high. So the odds of it being a military aircraft doing high G loads like that, it's impossible. It's completely impossible.
Does this phenomenon seem to be under intelligent control?
That's the only thing it could be. I mean, it's either artificial or biological.
It all comes on the heels of a congressional hearing earlier this year where intelligence officials testified for the first time ever that there were about 400 new sightings of unidentifiable objects, adding UAP reports are frequent and continuing.
No, I do not.
Okay, strange.
And this latest wave of sightings from pilots could be just the beginning.
I bet my life on it. There are many more pilots and a lot more videos that are going to come out. I know this is going to happen.
Yeah.
I know it is.
And Gotti, you mentioned that there's a government report that is expected to come out. What do you think will be in that?
Yeah, that Pentagon report is expected to be given to Congress by the end of the month. It could either provide an explanation for the increasing number of sightings that we're seeing, or it could reveal some more information about new encounters. The question really is how much of it is going to be declassified. Meanwhile, Mark says he was told his report is going to be included in that review for Congress, and based on other pilots he's been talking to, he is convinced dozens of commercial pilots are going to be coming forward describing the same kind of lights flying in that racetrack-like pattern in the direction of the Big Dipper. The craziest part of his story, he says, is he saw a shooting star during all of this that was coming in that direction too, and he's like, oh my gosh, there's a shooting star happening as well. And then that shooting star joined in the pattern that those other lights were flying, something
Okay.
he's never seen before.
Whoa.
Dozens of pilots can't be making this up.
I know. Yeah. All right,
Okay.
Gotti. Thank
That's what I'm talking about. Eventually, we're gonna start seeing it more and more. That's just one of them. That's what happened on Cowboy, that you can go through Reddit and get different videos of, like this one is flashing, orbs over the sky in San Diego. Look at all those going across the sky. I'm just now seeing this with y'all. I would have uploaded this for tomorrow. This would have been my tomorrow video speaking on it. Look how they're blinking and in and out. And I believe it's more and more, whether people want to believe it or not, wars have a lot to do with sightings. Mr. Reed, what's good with you? Appreciate you stopping through. You see more and more of them during wartime. I mean, if you think they can stealth themselves, if you believe in possibility of the future, or somebody going to the past, or something like that, if they don't know, they know and can see that we doing something to this planet, that something is about to happen. Because Russia, you have to believe that Russia is down to his last leg, that he has to do something dramatic. He's losing. He's not gaining more property in Ukraine. He's losing some of it. He's trying to hold on to them nuclear plants. He said one of my closest use Reddit all the time for different stuff. I'll give it a look. There ain't no problem. You know what I'm saying? Some people say they're creatures, but I believe people are on some of those ships. I wouldn't put it past it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so this on Reddit, you can look at a lot of stuff like this. This is where I got some of the videos, and I'll go back to my videos that I have. I'll come back to Reddit. But this video here, after it goes off, this is just her turning to the side, getting a side view of them. This is strange orbs in the morning over Arizona. This is another one that I did during this week. I tried to put, let me give a little thing, because I tried to put circles around in the video. The circles didn't kind of match. I was trying to do it. Once again, I'm just learning this editing thing, and it's hard. Like I tell people, I don't go back and look at a lot of my videos. If I know something was wrong during the video, I've only taken down 2 videos. I've only edited 1 video and left up. But if I feel something is disrespectful as towards my neighborhood or individuals or something like that, man, I don't keep that shit up. I don't like that negativity, no matter what. It might take me 2 years, 3 years to get to 1,000, but I'm not gonna roll with that negativity. I'm gonna stick right here. This is my genre. This is what I like. Yeah, I'll tell some story. I can tell some stories about being in the penitentiary. I can give you some level 4 stories at New Folsom, Pelican Bay. I can give you some level 3 stories at Corcoran, some level 2 in the dorm stories at Avenal, some Chino Central, Madrone. I can give you LA County, $1 Million Row stories. I have a whole bunch of those, man. Everybody has a story. My nigga D Harris always said, everybody got a story on me. I have a lot of stories. I'm not a good storyteller, I don't think. That's my problem. I get into a story and I get to rambling and turning left corners and right corners instead of sticking to the story. If I can get to that, I think that my stories would be good. But I just don't see, because I don't want to tell sometimes you can't tell a story if you can't tell the full story while implicating something or somebody or yourself. So it's hard for me to tell any type of story, even though I love to tell them. I have them. I've told partial of them. I just never finished some of them. I had a story about the job I had at Pelican Bay. You know, people got to understand. When I went to Pelican Bay, man, I went to Pelican Bay on a year violation. I was in a level 4 with 60 something points with niggas that had all day 98 to life plus 10, double life, life without, 25 to life, 15 to life, 7 to life, life. I had a year violation. And since I came from East when I went there, I had already been in jail for 2 months. So what I was doing, 9 months, 10 months left. It almost took me a month to get from Chino all the way up to Pelican Bay. Pelican Bay is at the end of California. Took us 2 days to get there. 2 days to get to Pelican Bay. Pelican Bay is at the end of the world. You ain't gonna get no visit. You know what I mean? You lucky. A motherfucker gonna have to stay in Oregon or something. Come visit you, or Northern California, a little closer. You were going to Pelican Bay. But back to this. See, that's my thing about rambling. I was trying to put circles around it so y'all can see these orbs. They're different. They split up and then they come together. Oh, made terrible pitching decisions. Oh yeah. I wanted to have a bag on my head over here the way the Dodgers went out. You know, best record in the National League, and you go out like that in the first round. That's just about as bad as when Pittsburgh, I mean, we went 13-1 or something like that and went out in the first round. We had a bye. I can't remember the year that was. We had a bye. Lost the first game after the bye. We even had rest. David Reed said maybe this time they'll realize there are other living creatures beside us. People won't even enlist in Russian army. They hiding. Yes. I seen this thing, man. I wish I could have recorded it. Last night, I think it was on Vice. Yeah, y'all check out Vice. Vice was cool. It was and they were talking about the Russian army and how the Russian army was sending out the papers. Draft. They were giving out draft papers to all the men in Russia, Moscow. But when the men were getting there, they had to bring their own supplies. They didn't have backpacks for them. They were showing pictures they gave them niggas rusty guns. I mean, you know that army is about to get knocked off. So what you gonna do? Your strategic thing as being Russia, you can't lose to Ukraine. You gonna have to do the most anonymous thing of any, I mean, the most egregious things to not lose this war. And if it calls for nuclear bombing some shit, that's what he gonna do. I mean, we did it, didn't we? We bombed Hiroshima. But see, that's I think where the problem come in. We can't say anything about somebody bombing somebody. We bomb somebody. But now we telling us somebody else you can't bomb nobody. You know, we made a mistake bombing somebody, but we bombed somebody. And when we bombed somebody, it was probably around the first time that UFOs probably started coming back to this planet if they weren't already here, because they knew we gonna do something to this. If we go from atomic to nuclear, because what we dropped the atomic bomb wasn't as bad as what a nuclear. So, as I said, I tried to circle these two little dots that's coming across the sky, but it looked like they split up and then come together, and you'll see them. If you can see them right there, see a real light is the reason why I had to circle. and it'll go back again, and there it is close up. See the two? It's a black one here and a white one, and they're streaking across. They're gonna crisscross each other. Basically, crisscross. It looks like it's three of them. Like the black one and something separates, and they basically are crossing each other. And then they keep going and they speed up, and then it's out of the picture. Well, here is where I tried to put the circle, to try to keep up with it. Wasn't really working. I could see what I was trying to do. Not sure if it took heed to everybody else seeing what I was trying to do. I tried to I couldn't keep up with the red. And you can see both of them. And they just kind of crisscross each other. This one is color changing orbs filmed in the early morning hours in Miramar, Florida. This was on the 16th, 5 days ago. And this was also kind of strange. And I tried to get it close up, put the circle around it, see, but you can see it blinking. No, I didn't ever see Tookie. Not on the streets or inside the joint. See, this one is a difficult one because I tried to get it. It's kind of dark. They blew it up in the frame, but it's still hard to see. But you can see it there. Basically, it looks like more like a satellite. That's why I don't think this one really got as many views, because it's hard to keep up with it, and it doesn't look like much, even though you can see it moving. Here's where I was trying to get a duel. If you look up at the top right-hand side, it's another little dot here that just happens to appear in this video. I was trying to split it up so I can get my red one, get a circle around that one that just popped up, but the video was moving too fast. Yeah, Vice is dope, man. They have a lot of good shows. Cowboy, they have a lot of good stories, different stories. They had the story about the Iranian women and how they were protesting over in Iran after the girl died. That one girl died, and they started taking off the hijabs, and they were showing videos of them. See, there's the one that stopped. It's a little better when I got it in this circle one. But it kind of moves. So yeah, they had a lot of Cowboy. I've been looking at Vice for a minute. But the one they had about the Russian army, yeah, that was crazy, man. They didn't have food. They didn't have clothes. They didn't have nothing. They told them to bring their own medical supplies. They had one in the heroin game in old Mexico. Yeah, they have a lot. I think they had one over in El Salvador. They had one on the gangs in El Salvador. Another one that I like is Locked Up Abroad. That shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because our penitentiaries I love compared to some of the penitentiaries in other countries. Man, woo-wee. I seen this one penitentiary where they just let them, there ain't no guards there. The inmates run the whole penitentiary. And either you cool with them or you ain't. And if you ain't cool with them, they seclude you into a certain area. And you have to fend for yourself. You don't got no food. You got to scrap through the scraps that they throw out and all that. You are bandaged from the whole but you're still stuck in the penitentiary. Yeah, that shit was crazy. Yeah, so this video, I tried to get it as good as I could. Yeah, I almost got away. Yeah, that was kind of crazy too. You know what I mean? I almost got away with it. Yeah. It's a trip that make your stomach churn because they so close to getting away with it. You know what I'm saying? Almost got it. Just that close. And get caught. I don't know if a lot of people seen the movie. That was one of the first movies about somebody getting locked up overseas. Was called, what was it called, man? It was an old movie, like in the 70s, mid 70s, or something like that. Something Train. Somebody will come up with it. Something Train. Something Train Express, if I'm not mistaken. And dude got caught with all the hair taped around his stomach. And they was trying to get him out, and they was doing him bad in there. I can't think of it. Somebody else will come up with. This one is a triangle filmed above Aaron and Sausbeck Park in Netherlands, October 12th. Now it's 2 videos of this. This is crazy. This video, they're trying to dispute that it's a fake video. And in some aspect, you kind of look at it, it does look a little CGI-ish. But it's a lot of, I'm not sure if the first one is and the second one, because it's 2 of them. I think you'll like the podcast called Serial. It was the first show that covered the Andon Said story in Baltimore. Okay, I'll have to check that out. It's on Netflix or something. And so this one was triangle filmed above Arnhem. This is in the sky. I also got this off Reddit. As you can see, it's a white shape of a triangular shaped craft. I mean, it doesn't look like nothing that we've seen other videos like this in the sky and the clouds. You see clouds at different forms of them. This was just real unique because of how white and the outlining of it. Now, what I couldn't get is where they saying that this one was CGI or this next shot of it was CGI, because there's 2 different photos or videos of this same object, or it could be 2 different objects. That part I don't know. But you'll see it. This is the first one on that date, the 12th. And you can clearly see us in the clouds. It just looks like a little white mark. Maybe it was stealth and couldn't. Now, this is the second same triangle filmed above the same place 3 days later. And this is how it looked. Now, they point their thing basically in the same area. And he gets that. Now, that's the one that I'm assuming that they're saying may be CGI. May be made, to and put in the sky like that. Not sure. That was in the Netherlands. Yeah, that was in the Netherlands, a park in the Netherlands. You know, and a lot of them countries over there, they don't, you know, there's no need for them to do CGI because they definitely seeing them all the time. But this is shown 3 days later, the same part. Um, and that's where it looks kind of CGI-ish when he backs up like that. But who's to say? You know, there are clips. Now, this one is real weird. This one happened in Kansas City, Missouri. This is caught on a doorbell cam. Now, what you're about to see, you're going to see a big ship. But I'm not even going to speak. I'm going to just show it, and then we can speak on it because it's awfully weird. If you can see it right there in the corner. See it in the right corner moving? And that was caught on a doorbell camera. Now, they're going to give a little analysis on it, you know, because somebody's trying to break it down because it looks real weird. Look at that. That is a huge object that just comes out. It doesn't come from behind the house or anything. It seems as though it comes out of nowhere. I'm going to back it up just a little bit right here. So you don't see anything in the sky there. And watch. Boom. It just comes out of the sky. It just comes out of darkness. They're going to give a little closer up. This was also on Reddit, Cowboy. And this is they're kind of breaking it down. The film rate, the playback speed. Object isn't a lens flare. It goes behind the trees. You'll see it go behind the trees and basically see it. It didn't blend into the trees. It went behind it. Watch. See, there it go behind the tree. They just blew it up. And then you'll see the little mark behind it. See it? There it is again, right behind the tree. Object seems to have 3D dimensions to it and concave reflective texture. You got a reflective texture at the bottom and at the top from the moon shining on it. And it turns. Goes behind the trees. That's it coming out. That's it coming out of the darkness. It seemed like it's a multitude of a bunch of craft together that go, if you can see it. See how fast? See how it turns? See how it looks? And this is it. It's giving off the light at the bottom, as it's saying in here, is accurate based off the brightness emanating from the parking lot below. See where the lights is rolling over and the lights are at the bottom, shining off the bottom of it. This is less CGI than anybody can speculate or see or try to speak on. Because it's given a certain angle. And I'm hoping that a lot more scientific people will look into it. But you know, this is not caught by somebody filming. Some people think jellyfish could be aliens because they don't have blood, brains, or visible circulatory systems. Hey, I'm pretty sure, man, Cowboy, do you believe it's things in that ocean that probably don't have anything? That's just floating down there at the bottom because of the pressure. Can you just imagine the animals down there where there's no pressure that we can't even get to? I bite an octopus or a jellyfish. True that. So it's it curving and going, the speed of it, and look at the lights glaring off the bottom of it. I mean, that's hard to get that whole, if you just doing CGI, to get that all that basis and get the lighting to go, the glare off the back of it, off the bottom. I mean, it is hard to dispute because it's coming off a camera. How did that camera know when to film? It's just always been filmed. And so that was definitely my UFO stories that I got off for this week that I've shown. A lot more. I'm hoping that they come out with this a little bit more about this asteroid that they hit. Because it's hard for me to believe that they hit this asteroid head on. Blew up all them pieces all over that part of the galaxy, and it's not affecting it. You know, people got to make me understand when they said dark. Let me just bring this up for you, young people, real quick. Dark. All right. This dart which they call, let's go on here. Hold on. Let me bring you in here real quick. If y'all look right here, team members are celebrating the successful impact of NASA's double asteroid redirection test, DART, which slammed into an asteroid called Dimorphos Monday night, September 26 at 7:14 p.m. as planned. The mission was designed to evaluate a potential method of planetary defense so that if astronomers ever spot a large asteroid that might collide with Earth, humans might be able to avoid the catastrophe. Okay. Here's where I have the problem. I've spoken on it many of times. Where is the dual asteroid? You only hit one asteroid. That's one. That's uno. That's one. Why would you name a rocket DART, dual asteroid redirection test, if you're only hitting one asteroid? You know more than enough that you're trying to hit another asteroid, or you wouldn't put it as dual. You're not telling us that. You know that whatever particles, when it busted that thing up, that was supposed to hit what, the big one in the middle? So you can change the direction of all the astro. Doesn't make any sense. Nobody listens to a nigga who got 1,000 subscribers. However, I'm still gonna say, NASA, what is you doing? You ain't told us nothing. We ain't gonna listen. Until it goes wrong. Anybody looked at Don't Look Up? Don't Look Up was pretty good. Had a little comedy in it, you know. But here's my point, and I'm gonna get off of it. I'm gonna always bring it up, but I'm gonna get off of it. Why would you spend $325 million for a rocket for practice? You practicing on something 6.5 million miles away, but are you fully aware what's in that galaxy 6.5 million, or what is rotating? Is rotating around nothing. I guess that's your assumption. Then why would you name it dual asteroid redirection test? Just curious. Anybody can give me an answer for it? I'll wait. Why they said do it if you're interested in that type shit. If you're not, I can understand that you're not. Um, but yeah, it has been my year because I'm gonna get off that because nobody really wants to talk about the end of the world or the asteroid, but they practicing for no reason. Or do they know that something is coming our way? So they practice that way? Who's to say? We sure are getting a lot of UFO videos. We're definitely getting a lot of UFO. Not only videos, we're getting more pilots speaking on it. We're getting more Senate panels talking about it. Now we sending up rockets to knock out asteroids out the sky. I'm not sure what's going on. But y'all better vote in November before you let these Republicans get in. Appreciate y'all checking out my UFO videos. Before I go, I was trying to debate, should I re-get into this story or not? Let me play something, man. That gives me the belief of the reason why I started doing this before I go out and think about if I'll tell it or not. Shout out to my
pull up in motorcades. I got a show today. That's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate. Choppers a throwaway. Hustle the overweight. That's why they follow me, huh? They think I know the way. So I took control of things. Ballin' the solo way. And if you pattern my trend, I make you my protege. Crossing that soldier race. Niggas don't know them days. Take you in back of the buildings. Make you expose your rage. Take you across the tracks. Make you explode the face. Now you official now. But you got a soul to save. I just been cooking that note. I'm about to drop in the field. Think if I call it the great, the people gon' call it the truth. I ain't really trip on the credit. I just paid all of my dues. I just respected the game. Got my name all in the news. Tripping on all of my moves. Quote me on this, got a lot more to prove. Remember I came in this bitch, fresh out the county with nothing to lose. Nothing. No. On the ground of you. But I don't do this shit for nothing. No, not at all. You. But my money ring, money rings. That you do. So I don't do this shit for nothing. No. Not at all. I tell that.
And that's why I wanted to play that song, because I don't do this shit for nothing. I don't do this UFO shit for nothing. I'm just trying to open eyes. A platform that you can come to if this is what you believe in, you got a home, you can talk about it. KCF says it's not 55 million, it's 110 million because they are contemplating other objects. What do you mean by that, Casey? Other objects going. My thing is, do they understand when they hit it head on? That was what, 100 and something million miles per hour or whatever when they hit it head on. They showed the video of it exploding and just some particles that's going left and right. Do they realize as I said once before, that asteroid probably has been going on that same trajectory for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. We just changed that trajectory. Damn, I can't even get the word out. Trajectory by hitting it to turn it off course by 20 miles an hour. By you know what? Let me just shut up and play this video. Hold on. Let me grab this video. I'm gonna let them explain it to you. About them hitting this asteroid and knocking it off course for what they think is going. Their plan for it is to go off course by so many miles, it rotating around the bigger one. But if you change the outer, it's just like spinning a top. When you spin a top, it has the middle part and then it has the bar on the outside. When you spin it, the center spins, the outer spins around it. If you knock that metal part that's spinning around it, you ever seen a top? Once it gets off its trajectory, it doesn't spin like it starts wobbling. So what makes them think it may not start wobbling or something? Because we did it for practice. And they don't know what they did. They don't. And they say that they don't know what they did. They were just doing what they think is going to happen to the asteroid once they hit it, because they obviously they didn't know. Or are they practicing on something and then knowing mathematically? It's just like look up. You can trace. They were able to trace a certain comet and knew that it was coming close to the United States. I mean, United States, coming close to the world, to the planet. So they did basically the same thing, but they landed like bombs on it to blow it up, and it didn't work. It just split it all up into different pieces. Could they have done the same thing? I'm trying to find this video because I played it the other day. Here it is. Update on the DART mission.
For 2021, and in
said, KCF says, when you said an asteroid, that's just the beginning. There's something behind it. The asteroid is the fact. That's what I'm trying to say that to KCFs. It's just not coming out the right way. That's what I want to know. Why would you spend that money to hit an asteroid for practice? Why would you spend $350 million? Monique Hill, appreciate you stopping through. Oh, I've been away, man. I haven't been motivated really to do too many lives. I've been pushing out the UFO videos, but I thought it's my time to try to find days without sports being incremented in that days, and a lot of people don't come and hear this message for me to play something. So I decided on this day. Plus, it's 2 days before my year anniversary of doing something. Monique say they have no idea what they're against. None. Dominique Mayweather, what's good with you? So I'm going to let you, we're going to go through this and listen to these NASA people talk about this is after they've hit this asteroid. But you have to kind of listen. I mean, if you don't listen to it fully, they'll bullshit you. You can get bullshitted by some of the things that's coming out their mouth. But if you really listen, like, We'll know in a couple of weeks. We'll know in a month or some years what we actually did. Well, wait a minute. Why would you do something you don't know what was going to happen to it? Why would you even try that out? That's like trying to drive a truck head on into another truck to see what's going to happen when it explodes. Because we're trying to get this truck off the road. So we just going to ram another one going at 100 miles an hour and see what happens.
Intentionally impacted an asteroid as the world's first test for planetary defense on September 22nd of this year. Today, we will hear from representatives on this international mission, including NASA Administrator Bill Nelson, who will share information about what we're learning from DART and give us an update on NASA's planetary defense program. On the line, the president of the Italian Space Agency, Giorgio Sacaccia, on the Lucia cube, which hitched a ride on DART. Lori Glaze, the director of NASA's planetary division here at NASA headquarters in Washington, D.C. Then we'll have Nancy Chabot, the DART coordination lead at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory in Laurel, Maryland.
I'm sorry, but when you hear she talk, you just smile too much. Everything is just hunky dory with this young lady right here. You can't. When you talking about something as extensive as hitting an asteroid like this, man, you got to have some kind of seriousness to it. You can't just keep the same smile the whole time you trying to tell me that, yeah, this was a great thing that we did. Okay, it might be. You know what? It may be. But you're also telling us, what if it didn't go right?
Finally, we'll hear from Tom Statler, the DART program scientist, also here at NASA headquarters. First, we'll hear from the NASA Administrator, Nelson. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. 2 weeks ago, NASA made history once again. We conducted humanity's first planetary defense test. And we showed the world that NASA is serious as a defender of this planet. And we captured the attention of millions of people around the world in this test. And that's because DART, as we call it, it felt like a movie plot. But this was not Hollywood. Last November, just before Thanksgiving, a Falcon 9 carrying NASA's first planetary defense test mission launched from the Vandenberg Space Force Base. And after a 10-month journey, millions of miles, NASA successfully crashed a refrigerator-sized spacecraft into the asteroid Dimorphos, 7 million miles from Earth, and it came in at 14,000 miles an hour.
So, I lied. 14,000 miles an hour. Took it 10 months to get there. what did it say? 5 million miles away from us. Took it 10 months to get there. We did all this for practice. How much did the aircraft cost y'all to be here there, young man?
And it was a bullseye.
It was a bullseye.
But why would NASA do something like this?
That's what I've been asking you.
Well, if an Earth-threatening asteroid was discovered and we could see it far enough away, this technique could be used to deflect it. And so,
you know what the key word was in that statement? Could. It could work if we thought, okay, as much mathematical scientists we have in this earth, on this planet, with that technology, y'all been running in numbers for years. Y'all got observatories all over the world. You looking at every asteroid within our solar system. You mean to tell me none of them are getting to us? None of them can come to us. That should be your thought. So you wouldn't need to practice. But I'm pretty sure that you know that there's something that in a few years is going to get to us. Hey, Goob, if you ever watch movies and see that was one man that the government or people went to when the shit hit the fan, it just might be you. There you go. Goob, did you know it's crafts under the Sphinx and inside the mighty pyramids? Yeah, I believe that too. One day I'll get into it once I get to my, get more studying on it, because for one thing, most people thought the pyramids, the Great Pyramids, were built to house the caskets of kings of their time. The Great Pyramid of Giza, when they finally went in there, they just found trap doors, little holes. They didn't find any pyramids. So what was the basis of them just building that big, massive pyramid, or the three that's all set up just like Orion's belt in the same formation? None of them have anything. They just have different little holes, little boxes that a human body can't get into. But when they sent the camera into those little holes, at the end of the holes, they found out that there were rooms that just dropped off. That's black. How the hell was this room built? There's no doors in the room. They can't understand how it was built. How, or the reason why it was made. They think it was made for electricity, for some type, like the Sphinx that's in Las Vegas, where the light comes out. They're thinking that the Great Pyramid of Giza was a light, or was a source of electricity. Where do they hide Area 51 from the public? Under the ground, in mountains. They said Area 51, Monique, some of the mountains that's there are artificial mountains. They open up into certain type of bases and all that. Arizona, we've been known to see different. I always ask a person that was here in Arizona before I got here, what do they think about the Arizona lights or the Phoenix lights? So a lot of people speak about the Phoenix lights and believe the Phoenix lights. Some people don't, but there was thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that seen those lights fly over Phoenix. So here he is. He's talking about it hit with a direct impact, and this is what we're doing to stop an asteroid from hitting the planet Earth. However, you don't have all officials within the planet Earth on this mission. It's only the United States and Italy. If it's to protect the whole Earth, shouldn't everybody within the nation, some type of NATO agreement to say, hey, we all looking at this. We're all going to put a part. We all want to put some kind of filming device on this thing. We want to add some money into it. But the only two people they talk about is United States and Italy into it.
So today, NASA confirms that DART successfully changed the targeted asteroid's trajectory. Now, how do we know that? Well, prior to DART's impact, it took Dimorphos 11 hours and 55 minutes to orbit its larger parent asteroid, Didymos. Since DART's impact, astronomers have been using telescopes on Earth to measure how much that time has changed. And now the team has confirmed that the spacecraft's impact altered Dimorphos' orbit around Didymos by 32 minutes, and therefore successfully moved its trajectory.
So It moved its trajectory by 32 minutes. That's what he says. They've confirmed it. Now you're going to have to listen to the other people when they're talking, because they're not saying it with confidence like he's saying it. NASA knows. We've got telescopes that's looking at it. We know that it's changed 32 minutes. Remember, he was specific about it. Look, he says it. You're welcome, Monique. I'm trying. Listen
and
to
now the team has confirmed that the spacecraft's impact altered Dimorphos orbit around Didymos by 32 minutes.
There it is.
And therefore successfully moved its trajectory. In other words, DART shortened the 11-hour and 55-minute orbit to 11 hours and 23 minutes, and it moved it in another location. And that has been confirmed by the telescopes. It was expected to be a huge success if it only slowed the orbit by about 10 minutes. But it actually slowed it by 32 minutes.
My thing is, do they know what? Okay, you guys are only expecting 10 minutes. Do you know what the factors and you did all the measurements? You took the, you put A plus B plus C divided by D and moved it at 10 minutes. But it's moved its trajectory 20 minutes. So, hold on here.
Dr. Lori Glaze and the DART team will explain more about how we confirm that. Now, this is a watershed moment for planetary defense and a watershed moment for humanity. And that's why it was fitting that DART was an international endeavor. Science benefits humanity. This is a unifying mission. And thanks to Italian Space Agency President Giorgio Sacoscia, I thank him for his partnership. All of us have a responsibility to protect our home planet. After all, it's the only one we have. And this mission shows that NASA is trying to be ready for whatever the universe throws at us. I believe that NASA has proven that we are serious as a defender of the planet. I want to thank you, Gina. Back to you.
Thank you, Administrator Nelson. Now we'll hear from the Italian Space Agency President, Giorgio Sacoccia.
Okay, my bad. I was talking to my daughter. We got to rewind that. I don't know if y'all heard that shit. Listening to him. All right, bye, love you. He's finna move to these other three. Now remember, he was confident that what they did and they moved it, that ability was good. Let's hear what they had to say. This dude, I think, is an Italian. That's why I said the United States and Italian worked together. They didn't have anybody else. Europe, Russia, China, Japan, China, none of them were in on this expedition of blowing up this asteroid. So here's his explanation.
Hello, Giorgio Sacoccia here. First of all, let me congratulate Senator Nelson Bill. You and your team made really history with the deviation of the asteroid. I think is something that we can really be proud of as an international endeavor. And I think our planet can.
What he's going to speak on.
NASA's success changed.
My bad.
Whatever the universe throws at us. I believe that NASA has proven that we are serious as a defender of the planet.
Okay, let's move on. I didn't want to go back. The reason why he's talking is because Italians actually put a camera on too. They coordinated with the United States to have their own camera to take pictures from behind this rocket when it hit. So it'll show the explosion, but only the explosion from the time that it hits. It doesn't say, they don't have any cameras that's there to show where all the stuff when it blew up and where it went. It shows like streaks going different ways, but that doesn't show any particles. What they hit that motherfucker with, they sent a crack smoker out there and he smoked it up in 32 minutes. Yeah, they hit it. They hit it with a $325 million
but extremely intelligent and smart to monitor something so difficult. Just to give an idea, we're talking about monitoring an event while traveling at a relative speed with respect to the asteroid of 6 kilometers per second, about 4 miles per second. So LICIACube had to watch the event and then do a flyby of the two asteroids and turn to continue monitoring what was happening. It was really, really something challenging, but when after the impact took place, you can see we have prepared two videos. The first one shows the last seconds before the impact, and you can see the change, basically a little change in the little dot, which is Dimorphos, showing the ejection of the material. But of course, a second video we prepared shows what actually happened during this approaching of Dimorphos, the flyby and the turning of the satellite, and getting far away. So what you can see in the second video is actually the approaching from 700 kilometers of distance, then the flybys where we went very close, up to 59 kilometers from Dimorphos.
Because his English isn't that good. If you look at the writing at the bottom, this is basically showing the video from their aspect on the outside of the rocket hitting it. They have the video of the video that's on the rocket itself when it hits the asteroid. And they also have an outer one that's behind this rocket after it hits the asteroid.
And then you can see while we're getting more far away of about 300 kilometers. So I believe what you're seeing here is really, really fantastic. I remember the night when from the control center at the Argotech premises, our prime contractor, we started looking at those images. We couldn't believe our eyes that actually we made it. And we made it thanks to this fantastic collaboration with colleagues from NASA, and we are really, really proud of that.
Thank you, Mr. Sakacha. We're so pleased that you were able to join us on the line, and we understand you'll stay on for questions. Next, we'll have Ms. Lori Glaze.
Great. Thank you so much, Gina. Let's all just kind of take a moment to soak this in. We're all here this afternoon because for the first time ever, humanity has changed the orbit of a planetary body, of a planetary object. First time ever. We've heard that the team has measured that the orbital period of Dimorphos has changed from a period of 11 hours and 55 minutes to a period of 11 hours and 23 minutes. That's a change of 32 minutes with a precision of plus or minus 2 minutes. And Nancy's going to talk a lot more about how we know that and why we're confident in that number. But I want to take a moment here just to give my sincere thanks to the entire team. This is a big effort. The team at Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory, to the Italian Space Agency, and in all of the collaborating partners that have contributed to achieving this remarkable.
So now these are the three NASA scientists, females talking. Like I said, the middle one, she smiles a lot. I think she knows more than maybe the other two when she speaks about it. But this is where you'll hear when they start saying, "We think, we hope, we'll know in a couple weeks."
And this achievement. So we've been watching this mission, and as you heard, the minimum requirement for changing the orbital period was really only 73 seconds. But based on models, the team had been looking at a broad range of parameters for the potential physical properties of Dimorphos. And from those models, had estimated we would make a change of between a few minutes and several tens of minutes. And so what you've seen here is that result of a 32-minute change is consistent with the estimates that were made beforehand, but clearly at the upper end of that range, which is really fascinating. You'll hear more from Tom about what else we can learn from these data going forward. But it's just been so cool. The whole world has been watching this since DART impacted Dimorphos 2 weeks ago on September 26th.
Yeah, the whole world has been watching because they want to know, like I want to know, well, what did y'all do? Do y'all know what y'all did? You speculating? If you knocked it off 32 minutes, that's like knocking what rotates. Well, I guess you can't say that. Can you? If we rotate 24 hours, I mean, there's a 24-hour span from the sun and the moon and everything to rotate around us. If you knock that off 32 minutes, is our days going to get shorter or longer? So what happens when you do an asteroid like that has, do they know if there's any, or are they assuming there's no planets around there? There's no other extraterrestrial life around there that you might have knocked off course? I'm just curious.
And if I could pull up my first image, please. We've had observations from around the world, ground-based telescopes, and even a couple space-based telescopes. I just want to share a couple of them with you here. This image here was taken by the SOAR telescope in southern Chile. And let me just describe a little bit of what you're seeing. You just saw images from the Lucia cube going head on, looking at a cone of ejecta coming off of Dimorphos. Well, here now you're looking at an image, that same kind of view, but from side on. So you're seeing that ejecta cone kind of facing out to the left. And you can see one arm of that cone pointing down to about 8 o'clock, and then the top arm of that cone pointing up to about noon. And so we can see that cone here from the ground. You also see this really bright streak going off towards about 2 o'clock. And it looks kind of like the tail of a comet. And that's because what we're seeing there is this fine-grained particles that were ejected from the asteroid being driven away from the asteroid by solar radiation pressure, very much akin to a comet. So very cool observations here. This image was actually taken 2 days after the impact. And if we go on to the next image, please. We're continuing to take images. This is the latest and greatest, hot off the press, Hubble Space Telescope image that was collected on Saturday. And what you can see here is that ejection cone, again, we're looking side on, that bottom arm of the cone is still pointing down to about 8 o'clock, but the top part of that ejection cone has kind of gotten pressed back again with that solar radiation pressure. And you can also see that comet-like tail has now kind of split into two as it gets away from the asteroid. This is so fresh and such a new.
So see, here's the thing though. What they've neglected to say. is what is that arm that's extending out like that? Is that particles going somewhere else? Can it get attached in some other type of universal structure or fucking realm that could, go into space and go somewhere else? Or that's just how it's going to stay? Once again, they don't know. They're assuming that's a good thing. Oh, it broke up in two. I think that's what they trying to say. That's a good thing.
Image that the scientists are still working on interpretation of that kind of double bifurcated tail. It's about 10,000 kilometers across here in this image. Really fascinating stuff. The learning is going to continue for a long time to come. And so with that,
did you hear that? The learning is going to come for long times on. They don't know. They just said the scientists are trying to figure out if the splitting. Let's hear her say it again.
Very cool observation cone. Again, we're looking side on. That bottom arm of the cone is still pointing down to about 8 o'clock. But the top part of that ejection cone has kind of gotten pressed back again with that solar radiation pressure. And you can also see that comet-like tail has now kind of split into two as it gets away from the asteroid. This is so fresh and such a new image that the scientists are still working on interpretation of that kind of double bifurcated tail. It's about 10,000 kilometers across here in this image. Really fascinating stuff. The learning is going to continue for a long time to come. And so with that, I'm going to pass it over to Nancy to talk a little bit more about the results.
Because you don't know shit else after that.
Well, thank you so much. It's really a pleasure to be here today. And I really just need to start by also just acknowledging what a team effort it has been in order to get to this moment. From the team who built the spacecraft, from the team who so successfully led that spacecraft to guide itself to that spectacular collision, to really the team that's been working ever since that collision 2 weeks ago to understand what happened to Dimorphos. I've been collaborative around the world in order to get to this result today, and I'm just really happy to be here as a representative of that large international team to share that result and to dig into this data a little bit.
What is a large international team? United States and Italy? That's not a that's not a whole lot of countries. So it's not a coalition of a whole bunch of countries that y'all did this. You know what I mean? And you keep saying it. Yeah, we're hoping that it's good. And, we've been collaborating together and okay.
So digging into the data, one thing I want to stress up here at front is that there are two different types of observational data sets, both completely independent, that were used from data collected here on the Earth in order to arrive at this result of 32 minutes for the orbital period change. And they're both completely consistent and supporting this result that we've heard, this 32-minute orbital period change. If I could have the first animation, please.
Yeah, look at this animation.
The first data set and method used by the DART team uses optical telescopes here on the Earth. And so these optical telescopes here on the Earth can never actually tell the difference between Didymos and Dimorphos. As to these telescopes, this asteroid system is always just a single point of light.
For decades.
And that single point of light changes in brightness with time, as seen by these telescopes, because sometimes the little asteroid Dimorphos passes in front of the larger asteroid Didymos, and there's a little bit of a shadow. But then other times it actually passes right into Didymos' shadow. This is a Dimorphos eclipse. And so you can see from these eclipse events that the telescopes see a decrease in the overall brightness of this asteroid system every time that this happens. And then you can also see that these timings are very much related to the orbital period of Didymos around Dimorphos. So by measuring when these eclipses happen, you can determine what that orbital period is. And I also want to take a moment here to say the DART team already did this. We did this in order to get the timing for DART's kinetic impact event. So when the DART spacecraft was speeding in to hit Dimorphos, it was really important that Dimorphos wasn't hiding behind Didymos or located in front of Didymos at that time, but was actually...
See, as much as they explain and they say they explain why they or not why, because they still haven't explained why they give us an explanation of why they hit it because they think that another asteroid, just in case we practicing. I got that. But the naming of it, I wish they would have asked the question of why did you name it dual asteroid redirection test when you're only hitting one asteroid? Because you're still not making any sense if it's dual. Where's the other asteroid that you hitting? Are you trying to hit the big one? Were you blowing up the little one to hit the big one? Or you would the redirection of 32 minutes around this, the bigger one is going to make the bigger one go slower or faster. There's got to be some kind. If they've been doing this for thousands and thousands of years, something else got to change, not just the direction of the one that you hit. Other things in that atmosphere has to change too. They say one action brings a reaction, or however they say that saying, cause and effect. One action brings what's going on here? A reaction. But we'll let her go on and talk.
Off to the side. And telescopes on the Earth, the DART team had used those data in order to get that timing to inform when the DART spacecraft should show up so that the autonomous navigation system could separate Didymos from Dimorphos and target onto Dimorphos and squarely hit it. And we see that positional information that the team had was excellent, and Dimorphos was exactly where it was expected from the analysis of this telescopic data. So this is just to say that the team was highly experienced and practiced at already using this method of telescopes to understand where Dimorphos is relative to Didymos. If I can have the next graphic, please. So ever since the event on September 26th, 2 weeks ago, these telescopes have been observing this system nightly. And that's what you see going across here on this graph on the top. Just this nightly telescopic data, night after night after night after night, all added up there. There's actually 4 different telescopes on the Earth that have contributed to making this graph so far that you're looking at in this result that we're presenting today. It's the Las Campanas Observatory in Chile, the Las Cumbres Observatory Global Telescope Network with facilities both in South Africa and in Chile, and the Danish Telescope in Chile. And all 4 of their data have excellent agreement and are all just overlaying on top of each other right here. Additionally, the DART team has 2 independent research groups that have looked at analyzing this data separately, and they have come to exactly the same conclusion. So this is also then showing 2 examples of this much larger data set blown up so you can see the actual data on September 29th and on October 4th. And what you see very clearly in that data is these dips in brightness that we were just talking about with that animation. And these dips in brightness were confirmed by these.
See, and that's all they're doing is speculating. Is like looking at a telescope. I have my telescope that's behind me right here. I can program my telescope to find any asteroid that's in the sky if it's above the horizon. If it's below us, the equator or the horizon, then I can't see it. I can program. I need to get it recalibrated while I'm talking, but I can program to look at the moon, Jupiter, any planet, as long as it's above the horizon. So I understand that they can follow and see this asteroid and use their powerful. I mean, you got to understand that their telescopes are way more powerful than what I got right here. So they can see more in that distance. But I don't think they can go back in time or go in the future of time and say the effects of what they did. It sometimes change is good. Sometimes change is bad. They've always said that. They don't know if they changed what they did and changed it for the worse. And we won't know. As Casey L said, it may be centuries before they realize what they've done. somebody that may be in that galaxy or be in that realm, they don't have the ability because they could be 10% smarter than us, not be able to communicate to us to let us know, hey, you did some fuck shit over in 6.5 million miles away, homie. You did some fuck shit and then came back home. Shot your shit over there and then came back to the house. And now all our shit is fucked up. We won't know that for years. Maybe not our generation, next generation. My point that I always speak on this here is, why would they do it for practice if they don't know? If they didn't think that there is an asteroid that could get to us. That's my whole, I think that they know that there is one that may not get here and now. It may take it 30, 40 years to keep rotating off its base, but it's going to get, we got to get to technology. But why would you do it now if it's that far away? You know how far it is. It's the what ifs. No doubt, KCM, it's the what ifs that they going to have to, no matter how much, they already did it. There's no bringing it back. There's no starting over. There's no bringing that rocket back. It's none of that. It's none of that. They've already done it. They've already knocked something off course. Us, everybody in our motherfucking, around in our galaxy, in this Milky Way of planets and Earth, we're going to have to deal with that, whether it's 6.5 million miles. What is Mars? Is Mars farther or closer? I should have looked that up before I even brought up that subject. Is it farther or closer? Is it in between? Did they knock some off in between us and Mars? Or us and Jupiter? Or us and Saturn? Or did we go outside of all those planets? Because if you fuck with something in the middle of it, then you really don't know what happened, what you did in the middle of it to cut us off from what was keeping us close enough to those planets. We probably won't know those for years either. You know, they say you could be looking at a star in the sky. That star could have burnt out 20,000 years ago. We're still seeing that light right now of that star, but that star has burnt out 20,000 years ago. We have 20,000 years worth of light still coming to us, and we looking at that star, but it's burnt out now. But it burnt out 20,000 years ago. That's how bad space is. We are, we can't get to shit. We can't get past the moon physically. We can send something anywhere. Right now, that's what we figuring out. We damn sure can send a rocket to go meet up with another asteroid somewhere else and knock it down. We can send shit to Mars. How do you know Mars wasn't knocked down from some shit we did years ago or centuries ago, or somebody else did centuries ago to fuck that planet off? We don't know. We think it's nature. Well, Mars just died because of nature over years. It burnt out. We don't know. Somebody could have had the same technology we did and did some fuck shit around it. It didn't catch up for tens of thousands of years. You don't think about that. None of us think about that. Why? Because we don't think in the future or nothing. We thinking strictly in the present. In the present. If they already declaring martial law in the country, we already know it could get to us at some time. That's off the subject. But that's to say that mayhem, like I said, when they say all countries was in on this, bombing this rocket, I don't understand why they're only talking about United States and Italy. They haven't said any other country. Well, I digress and let this go on and finish playing. But they only talk about the United States and they talk about Italy In Italy, the only thing they had on it, they weren't in on it. They just said, let us put a camera on the back of your rocket that we gonna release when it gets 10,000 miles closer. We'll follow behind and watch the explosion, so we can play it on our shit. We don't have nothing to do with the rocket and none of that shit. That's all on you, United States. We'll come talk about the camera that we put on it, but that's all y'all. If some shit get fucked off, ain't nobody else came in the game with us. Well, they ain't talking about, I don't see no other European countries or nothing that's sitting on this panel. But it was so much of a collective idea amongst this planet to go fuck with this asteroid, 6.5 million, that wasn't bothering nobody, minding its own business. We went out there fucking with it.
2 independent research groups, and they are consistent and indicate that the orbital period of Dimorphos around Didymos currently is 11 hours and 23 minutes. What you can also see here is that it is not consistent with being 11 hours and 55 minutes, as it was prior to DART's impact event. And this is very strong, conclusive evidence. The team is very confident of this 32-minute orbital period change. Now, the second data set that was used independently is planetary radar. And the planetary radar facilities used were the Goldstone Observatory in California and the Green Bank Observatory in West Virginia. What's nice about planetary radar is that, in contrast to the optical telescopes, you can actually distinctly get signal from both Dimorphos and Didymos directly. And this is an important distinction. So the Goldstone Observatory in particular has been tracking the position of Dimorphos regularly every night for the last 2 weeks, roughly. And from those, they have also been tracking that this is an 11-hour and 23-minute period currently for Dimorphos around Didymos, with a 32-minute orbital period change. If I can have the last graphic for me, please, here. Additionally, on October 4th and October 9th, these radar facilities were able to get some direct images of the Didymos and Dimorphos system. Here you see Didymos, but also directly in the image, you can also get signal from Dimorphos. And so we're directly imaging both of these asteroids and getting their positions relative to each other. And the position of Dimorphos is consistent with 11 hours and 23 minutes for its orbital period, and it is not consistent with being what the orbital period was prior to the DART impact, which was 11 hours and 55 minutes. And so this is just another example of these 2 independent methods all giving you this same answer. So this is a very exciting and promising result for planetary defense, to have this orbital period change of 32 minutes. It's within the range of the models that have been studied, but it's also definitely indicating that you're getting an enhanced deflection due to the amount of ejecta, that rocky material that's being thrown off when DART's collision happened. I think it's also, though, important to put this into perspective of a kinetic impactor technique if you wanted to use this in the future, potentially to deflect an asteroid. This is a 4% change in the orbital period of Dimorphos around Didymos. And it just gave it a small nudge. But if you wanted to do this in the future, potentially, it could potentially work, but you'd want to do it years in advance. Warning time is really key here in order to enable this sort of asteroid deflection to potentially be used in the future.
See, you would want to use it years before you think it's happening. So did they think years before the Dimorphos was coming, eventually going to get over here to us? Is that what she's trying to say? Well, we had to do it. We had to do it now because eventually it's going to get to us. Will they say it later, or they going to say it? They're not going to say it now. They won't even tell us about UFOs. Most of the time, they say them is fake. So you got everybody on here believing that a nigga that's sitting here talking about UFOs is an idiot or crazy as fuck. Why? Because you have society that don't want to tell the truth. Peru, different countries, they telling the truth now. The United States is going to take us a little bit of time. Or you're going to have to start seeing people that's on YouTube that's talking about it. You can believe they crazy or you can believe they not. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with being crazy. Because I believe everybody talks to themselves. Does that make them crazy? I think the only time it make them crazy is if you start answering yourself. Talking to yourself is just normal. Every nigga talk to themselves. Every person talks to themselves. God damn it, why the fuck I didn't do this? Everybody talks to themselves. It's when you say, God damn it, why the fuck I didn't do this? And then you turn around and say, yeah, well, you should have did it. If I was you, I would have did this. If you start talking back to yourself, that might make it crazy. Not wanting to look up, that don't make you crazy. Looking up and seeing shit, that don't make you crazy. That make those that think you crazy because they don't want to look up. They ain't gonna never look up. They rather look. And I say this, or I think you can get rid of a lot of violence if niggas wasn't trying to look a nigga eye to eye and start looking up. Or looking down or looking, I don't know. They say look a man in the eye. Yeah, well, that's killing a whole bunch of niggas because every time you look a nigga in the eye, they think that you, well, this nigga trying to be tough on, trying to push the line on me. But if we sit down and look up and think, man, this technology is way more advanced out here than what we think. We just minute individuals on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Casey say she act like she did 48 cups of coffee in 2 hours. Yeah, she get to grinning, but you can see when she started, her face doesn't change. She doesn't stay serious smiling all the time. Some of the shit that she say, she probably don't want to say. She's trying to keep that cool, so, hey, people that's looking at this, don't be afraid. We didn't do nothing wrong. We didn't do shit wrong. Yeah, you telling us that. You telling us that now. You ain't did nothing wrong. We won't know. Because we got to listen to y'all and y'all telescopes and y'all explanations of what you did. But I know if we start getting way more sightings after what y'all done did, all these attempts to get to the moon, going out our atmosphere all the time, and we starting to see more and more videos of shit in the sky, looking at orbs and things that we would send to Mars. We're not gonna send ourselves. What makes you think that they're gonna send aliens to our planet all the time? They can sit outside our planet and just send drones, like we send drones. It's the same thing. They just dropping drones out. They been go oversee, scope this whole part of the planet. Now let's go scope Antarctica and see how many. If there's a whole bunch of we can go right there because there's not enough. There's no one around. What I'm trying to say, it's barren land here. They know that before they even get there. That's why cow mutilations ain't no joke. I don't know why people overlook that. Why the cows are getting stripped out of barren lands where there's nothing but cows in the land. They know where to go. Why most of the time crop circles are made in barren areas of just nothing but crops because they know nothing's around there. Nothing can see them. But now we're building so many places and everywhere. They coming down the scope and we seeing them with our phones now. They've been hiding, yet they here. Most definitely, Monique. Most definitely.
Future and is part of a much larger planetary defense strategy. So I'll just end by saying that it's exciting that we've taken this first step to develop and now to successfully demonstrate asteroid deflection in space with the DART mission. The DART team is very happy to be sharing this initial result, even though there's still a lot of work to do. And I'll pass it over to you, Tom.
See, she had to drop that lug right on in it. She had to drop that, and y'all probably just right under y'all chin. She dropped that shit and kept it moving. Let her say it again. Let's just hear what she has to say with a big ass grin on her face.
Sharing this initial result, even though there's still a lot of work to do. And I'll pass it over to you,
Still a lot
Tom.
of work to do.
Thanks, Nancy. It's so wonderful to see this result for the period change of the binary asteroid. We've been imagining this for years, and have it finally be real is really quite a thrill. But as Nancy said, this is really just the start. It really is just the beginning of the analysis of this tremendously rich data set that we're going to get from the DART mission. In addition to the observations, which are ongoing and will continue for some months, we also have a lot of work ahead of us in order to really understand what happened.
See, booyah. He just said it. It's going to take a long time to find out what really happened. What really happened? What really happened? Let's let this young man say it again.
Sharing this initial result, even though there's still a lot of work to do. And I'll pass it over to you, Tom.
Pass it on to him.
Thanks, Nancy. It's so wonderful to see this result for the period change of the binary asteroid. We've been imagining this for years, and have it finally be real is really quite a thrill. But as Nancy said, this is really just the start. It really is just the beginning of the analysis of this tremendously rich data set that we're going to get from the DART mission. In addition to the observations, which are ongoing and will continue for some months, we also have a lot of work ahead of us in order to really understand what happened. We're going to be analyzing the images from the DART spacecraft and from LiCiCube to get shape models. We need to get a never-before in-hand shape model for Dimorphos. We didn't know what it was going to look like before we got there, and now we do. We will also have a refined new shape model for Didymos. There might be some revisions, refinements to the average density of the system, and that plus the shape model giving us the volume of the asteroids will give us the first real determination of the mass of Dimorphos, the asteroid that we actually impacted. That's going to be tremendously important going forward. There's also going to be intense work done on the beautiful ejecta plume that was imaged by LiCiCube and that is seen every night by ground-based telescopes. What direction did the material go in? What were the sizes of the particles? How much was there? We might be able to get an estimate of the amount of mass in the ejecta plume and how fast it...
See, he even said it himself. He said, we trying to find out the trajectory of the plume of things that came off of Dimorphos. When we hit that going at that mile an hour, we spread all that shit around the universe, that part of the universe. Where did it go? How much and how big was it? How big did it explode? They don't know. They don't know if they split that thing in half and one piece kept going around and the other piece is shot off, is going somewhere else. They don't know that yet. They think they know it. They don't know it yet. Why? Because they don't have nothing close enough. They just going off what a telescope looks like. Or the images coming back from a telescope. I understand. You know that you knocked it off 32 minutes. My point is, do you know what you did to affect those 32 minutes? If you ever look at movies, a lot of movies, when they go back into the, like Back to the Future is a prime example. When he kept going back to the future, he kept saying, you can't do this because it's going to change history. You can't conversate with this person because you're going to change history. You can't go talk to my mom and do this. It's going to change history. You're going to change the terrain. So how do we know that what that those two asteroids were doing for all that time that we didn't change something? We do not know. They will never, ever, ever get what we know. We'll never. We are connected to a universe and ain't no game over. I'm fearless. So yeah, that's right. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate those that's on this journey to talk about these things that's going on extraterrestrially, universally. And in space. Will anything change it? Is there a possibility to change anything? The question is always asked to people. If you wanted to go back in time, where would you go back? No matter where you go back to, if you knew what you knew then, if I knew what I knew before, and I once said I wanted to go back before my homie got killed, before everything in my life would change from that point on. You can't just change one thing by going back in history. You got to change everything from that point on. When they hit this asteroid, they don't know what they changed from that point on in that part of the universe. Does that affect us? Did they go back so far that they went back in the past or they went back into the future? We don't know. You can assume, okay, going back that far, it's just another part of the universe. I don't know. It's the same thing as saying if we dropped a bomb, the deepest part of the ocean, and it went all the way down to the deepest part of the ocean before it exploded, it probably wouldn't affect us above water. But everything that's down there that's been going on for thousands of years, it just affected and changed everything from that point at the bottom that would affect everything coming up. No? Or am I just talking crazy? I might just be talking crazy. That's what I'm talking about, Casey Elves. Right there. 32 minutes could affect a lot of years into the future. They don't know that.
And that also is very important to understand what happened. The team's going to be working to understand in detail the new orbit, the new 11-hour and 23-minute orbit. How out of circular.
He just said it. It's a new orbit now. It's not the same orbit. They just changed it and made a whole new orbit system for these two asteroids. They made a whole new orbit system for everything around these two asteroids. They're not going to tell us. They're not going to say nothing to us. We just going to go on like everything is fine. Oh, what they did up there is not affecting me. That's how we think. Me. It doesn't affect. If it doesn't affect us, we don't worry about it. It's just like politics. Most people don't vote. That's just not going to affect me until it fucking affects you. If you don't vote in this election, with all these election deniers that's on the thing, it's going to affect you. It might not affect you November or December 1st. Damn it, 2023 is going to affect you. Because them niggas is going to be able to change the history of voting and say, nigga, your vote don't count. All these niggas in Detroit and niggas in Chicago, y'all votes don't count. If it ain't a white vote, nigga, you niggas votes don't count. It's the same thing. You can change it just like it. You can be able to change history for a long time when there's election. Us, sending shit out there and blowing shit up, nigga, we don't know what we did. And he's telling it. He's just not saying it in so many words. He's trying to keep the people saying that, hey, we did nothing wrong.
Or is it? How elliptical is it? Is there a little bit of a wobble induced? Did we induce a wobble in Dimorphos itself as a result of the impact? And the physics simulators on the team will be simulating the impact again. Even though they've already done it, they're going to do it some more in order to match up the predictions of the simulations with the actual observed properties of the ejecta plume, so that we will know what we actually did to the asteroid, and we'll be able to make some predictions for what European Space Agency spacecraft Hera will find when it arrives at the Didymos system in 2027. All of this information plays into our understanding of what really happened in the experiment. How effectively did the kinetic impact change the motion of the asteroid?
Wait, we just let that go by? Did we just let that go past? Oh, how's Omar? Tell him I said, hey, get well. Yeah, man, Omar, man, send y'all prayers out for Omar, man. Omar's going through a lot of issues, man. I don't speak on it too much on my platform or anything like that. That's my brother. I haven't even spoke to him. I speak to him every blue moon when he's when he's available to speak, man. So shout out, prayers up to my brother. You know what I'm saying? He'll be back on this line soon. But if you didn't hear this man said that Europe is sending something out there. Okay. Why is it taking them till 2027? That's 5 years from now to catch up to something that you guys made and sent, and it got there in 10 months. Why they shit can't get to the same asteroid in 10 months? Why it can't be in 2023? They tell us what happened to this asteroid that y'all just blew up. Because he said right here.
No, they've already done it. They're going to do it some more in order to match up the predictions of the simulation images from the DART spacecraft and from LiCiCube to get shape models. We need to get a never-before in-hand shape model for Dimorphos. We didn't know what it was going to look like before we got there, and now we do. We will also have a refined new shape model for Didymos. There might be some revisions, refinements to the average density of the system, and that plus the shape model giving us the volume of the asteroids will give us the first real determination of the mass of Dimorphos, the asteroid that we actually impacted. That's going to be tremendously important going forward. There's also going to be intense work done on the beautiful ejecta plume that was imaged by LiCiCube and that is seen every night by ground-based telescopes. What direction?
Pause this real quick, pull this out, man, so KCLs. I heard that too, Sagoo. They have just changed the orbit. They said it. They said they changed that shit. They don't have any problem with changing for 32 minutes. They just don't know what the effects of it's going to be in the long run. That's what they're trying to figure out. But they'll slip it right on past us if you don't catch it. If you don't catch it.
Material go in? What were the sizes of the particles? How much was there? We might be able to get an estimate of the amount of mass in the ejecta plume and how fast it was moving. And that also is very important to understand what happened. The team's going to be working to understand in detail the new orbit, the new 11-hour and 23-minute orbit.
The new orbit. They ain't said the revised orbit. They ain't the partial changing of the orbit. He said a whole new orbit. These two asteroids have a whole new orbit. Where are them two orbits going to meet up at? I mean, where is it that orbit at? And what is it going to be orbiting around? Is it going to make it closer to the sun, farther from the sun, farther from the next planet, closer to the next planet? It's in a whole nother orbit. What orbit is it going to come into?
Out of circular is it? How elliptical is it? Is there a little bit of a wobble induced? Did we induce
I
a
just
wobble?
told you about the wobble. I just told you about the wobble. It's like spinning the top. When you spin a top and you tap that on one side of that top, it's going to start wobbling until it's all off course and it's not spinning anymore like it was before, because you didn't change the orbit of the spin of that top just by hitting it from one side. They knew what they was doing. They just don't know what they did.
In Dimorphos itself as a result of the impact. And the physics simulators on the team will be simulating the impact again. Even though they've already done it, they're going to do it some more in order to match up the predictions of the simulations with the actual observed properties of the ejecta plume, so that we will know what we actually did to the asteroid, and we'll be able to make some predictions for what European Space Agency's spacecraft Hera will find when it arrives at the Didymos system in 2027. All of this information plays into our understanding of what really happened in the experiment. How effectively did the kinetic impact change the motion of the asteroid? How efficiently was momentum transferred? It's too soon to say. There's a lot of moving parts in this calculation, but as Nancy intimated, it looks like the recoil from the ejecta blasted off the surface was a substantial contributor to the overall push given to the asteroid, in addition to the push of the spacecraft directly impacting. And so there's a lot yet to come. I want to finish off with one more image.
A lot yet to come, y'all. But they really ain't gave no. If you sat here and listened to this with me, or you just came in, or you're not, or you're catching the end of it, at no point, no time did they even clarify what actually happened to it, other than this 32 minutes. It then made a whole new orbit. It has changed the density of the bigger one that they didn't even say has nothing to do with it. If you listen to him real good, he talks about two different asteroids. He talks about Dimorphos, the bigger one, Dimorphos, the smaller one. Or I may have the names mixed up. But see, when they say dual asteroid redirection test, just because they hit that little one, they trying to knock the big one off course as well. That's the reason why they said dual. They're not telling us that's why they said dual. Because whatever happened to the little one is a cause and effect that's going to happen some kind of way to that bigger one. No matter what, it's something going to happen to that bigger one. Whether the motion, the push off, the trajectory of the dirt that comes off the smaller one hits the bigger one and knocks it. Okay, we got 32 minutes of the littler one changing orbit, but it can't change orbit if the bigger one doesn't change orbit as well. The littler one just can't go into its own orbit without bringing the bigger one into it, right? It rotates around the bigger one. So is that what they were saying? They changing the trajectory of the smaller one and the bigger one? Because you can't knock one out of the surface if you don't knock the other. I may be wrong. If anybody's, I might be wrong. I mean, but shit. Sounds like that's what they did. Monique say they scared. We are conducive to this planet and the universe. I fear not. It's the law. You know what I'm saying? The law says you can't fuck with certain shit, right? Cause and effect. A reaction is going to cause another reaction. their reaction, whatever they did with that asteroid, there's going to be a cause and effect to that. There's going to be a reaction for them knocking that asteroid off by 32 minutes. There's going to be some kind of cause and effect. There's going to be some reaction to other shit that's around it. But when would they ever tell us? The other ship don't get there with they said the Italian ship or whatever don't get there until 2027. That's 5 years from now. We're not guaranteed to be here tomorrow. But what is going to say 5 years from now? Oh, shit, we done fucked up. It's going to be too late then.
This is a spectacular image taken from HEQ and enhanced by the DART team to bring out fine structures. The rectangles that you're seeing are not real. It's just that in each successive rectangle, the contrast has been boosted by another factor of 2 in order to bring out that faint structure. And this is just a visually stunning image. And every little wiggle in those streamers, every little blob, every little particle that you see is a clue to something. It's a clue to something that happens on the surface of an asteroid when an object impacts it. And if you're looking at this image and a dozen new questions are popping into your head that you would have never have thought to ask before seeing this, well, that's just one of the hallmarks of great science. It opens up new questions that we would have never thought to ask. But in addition to the science value of this image, I really love it.
So now they saying there's new questions. I got a whole lot of questions. I've been asking the questions the whole time I've been on this live. I have a whole bunch of questions if I could ask y'all. So yeah, looking at this, yeah, I have a whole lot of questions. All these particles and where they went, where they going. They're just in space and that's how they gonna stay. They gonna stay like that for thousands of years? Nah, I don't believe that. It's gonna follow around that asteroid for thousands of years? I don't believe so.
Because it is artistic, it is poetic. And even though those rectangles aren't real, they're suggestive of windows of understanding. We're opening new windows of understanding, looking deeper and deeper and deeper to gain a better understanding of not just how to defend our planet against this natural hazard of asteroid impact, but also to understand how our solar system works and how we got to be where we are now. So with that, I'll give it back to you, Gina.
Thank you so much for that update. We are now ready for our questions and answer time. We do have some reporters on the line, but if there are any questions from reporters in the audience, please grab a microphone okay, great. And make sure you state your name and media affiliation.
Thank you. We will now begin the question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question, please press *1, unmute to your phone, and record your name.
When I'm ready to ask for questions in the room or on the line. Thank you.
Hi, it's Joel Achenbach with the Washington Post. This is all fascinating. Congratulations. Basic question, is this a plausible, deployable type of technology for deflecting an asteroid based on the results of this test? And also, can you just explain a little bit about why was the change in the orbital period at the high end of estimates? Just what mechanically was happening there? I know you referenced the ejecta and the
Good
recoil.
question.
But, I mean, can you explain the Newtonian mechanics of that?
I think you should take the first part, and then I'm happy to chime in after. Yeah. So on the first question about is this a viable technique for the future, I think that the DART mission has demonstrated that we are capable of deflecting an asteroid, even a potentially hazardous asteroid of this size, using a kinetic impactor technique. As Nancy said earlier, one of the key pieces to being successful with implementing a technique like this is early detection. The more time we have for that little nudge in the change in that orbital period to really make a change, the better off we are. The key point of this type of technique, of course, is to Just give that little nudge such that the asteroid crosses over Earth's path either just before we get there or just after we've gone by, so that we don't actually end up in the same place at the same time. So I think this has been an incredibly successful demonstration of the kinetic impactor, and so we're, hopefully we've got that tool in our toolkit now. I'll pass it over to Nancy for the other half.
Yeah, thanks. So period change of 32 minutes is spectacular and exciting, and what the DART team is working on right now to understand. So the DART investigation team has over 200 members that are on 28 different countries. We've been meeting daily and having really intriguing discussions that are fascinating, and we have to cut off time just so everybody can get some sleep or get back to the telescopes and do everything that's been going. So this is active, what the team is actively doing right now. We're really happy to be sharing this first initial result. It is on the high side of, some of the models that were run initially, so we feel confident saying that the ejecta is contributing in a substantial way. But yeah, come back in a little bit, and we'll be happy to share the results of those models that the team is working on about what specifically is causing that, and what that means, not just for what happened to Dimorphos, of course, but what this means for potentially applying this technique to other asteroids in the future, if the need should arise.
And that was it. They don't know. That was the whole gist of playing this video. She basically said it, come back. Few months, years, we'll find out what happened to this asteroid, what we did to the universe, what that part of the universe, 6.5 million miles away from us. Since it changed its orbit, what is a new orbit gonna be? Well, we ain't gonna, like they said, they're not gonna tell us until that other one get there in 2027, 5 years. Some of us will be here, some of us won't. We probably won't know what the effects of it will be for years. But I believe they changed history, should I say. Or they changed the future. They could have changed the past. They could have changed anything. Who's to say? A lot of times I get questions about how do I believe in extraterrestrial or UFOs, and I'm gonna say this stories for those that have stayed on here for this long. For people that don't know, I went to Catholic school for 8 years. Wore the uniform, did the whole thing. Had to catch the bus through some of the craziest neighborhoods in the world with a blue and white uniform on. As I told people before, I stayed in Baldwin Hills. I had to go through the jungles for up until I was in the 6th grade. I had to catch the bus through there. From the 5th grade to the 5th grade, I think it was. I went through from Baldwin Hills and through the jungle to get to my school. My school was behind Crenshaw Shopping Center. About the 6th grade, we moved to 28th from LaSalle, so my bus route took a different route where I used to have to get on the bus on Crenshaw and Santa Barbara, which is Martin Luther King Boulevard now. A lot of public school kids was getting out of Audubon and shit like that with my uniform. And I was a Catholic school, and when I finally moved to Pomona, I went to a public school, Gary I. I was no longer in a Catholic school type of atmosphere or anything like that. Once I got out of high school, I wasn't accomplishing really shit. I wasn't going to college or anything like that. That's where a lot of people get into more of the street life when they don't have outlets like that. I didn't have the outlet like that in the time during my 12th grade year. I had moved in with my grandmother stayed in LA, so I was catching the bus from LA to Pomona every day, just so I could graduate from high school. That's where all my friends were, all my buddies. I wasn't into the straight out gang banging life at that time. I was thinking about graduating, like mostly a lot of my niggas were. You know what I'm saying? But I was definitely wearing the blue all the time. I was definitely with the Crip side of life. I was definitely from the village. I was definitely gonna fight with any niggas that went to Gary and they getting into it. I was gonna definitely fight with them. But I didn't think anything would change. I think it changed a lot of my life was I started working at ABC Market in LA on Vernon in Vermont. It was my first ABC Market I started working at. They transferred me there from there to the ABC Market on Western and was it Western and Vernon? No, Western and I can't think. Vernon or Santa Barbara. I'm not. I think it was Vernon. But my cousin stayed on 69th and Budlong. Went over there. I wanted to get in the game. You know, started serving, doing little shit like that. I had never gotten to the drug game. Went over my cousin house. It was his birthday. I told him, man, when I get paid, I'm coming over there, man. We're gonna get drunk. We're gonna kick it. So I went on over his house. The Friday after I got it, crazy because the shit happened on Friday the 13th. Went over there, started getting drunk with him. His dad was in the game basically, so I had a paycheck, got some money, man, and I'm seeing him with all these fucking rocks, damn, and making money. So I was like, man, can I get a double up of that shit? You know what I'm saying? What can I do? What can I, I can get it off. I can flip my money on this. Like shit, I wasn't in the game, man. So he took me. I can't remember which street it was. Maybe it was 70 something and whatever. Got me to double up. Came back, fucking with my cousin. We drinking OD. You know what I'm saying? My cousin, he's younger than me. So if I was 19, he was 16. Well, something around there. So anyway, I get to Yep, and I'm asking his dad, where can I get this off at? I need to make some money. I get my first. He bring me a couple customers, and I get this nice nugget ring. Get off some of it, because I spent $100. I think I had $200. I kept counting it, because I really didn't know this is my first time. Remember, that's my first time serving. This is crazy. A lot of motherfuckers don't know this is like my first time, like really my first fucking time serving. So I asked him, I said, man, where can I go get this off? He said, go down this street, which was butt long. And he told me it was 65th, and actually I think it was 65th and butt long. So I go 65th and butt long. I'm sitting in the car. I'm serving, making a little bit of money. You know what I'm saying? And it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting there, I'm counting the rocks on the seat. See how much money more. My homie is hit me, say, nigga. My homie Squid, he's like, man, come out here, man. We finna go do something. I was like, man, hold on. I'll be out there. It ain't like I had a cell phone. I had to go to a payphone to tell him, nigga, I'll be on my way. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna make this little money. I have some money. Go out there. We can party. You know what I'm saying? So I was in mom's roller controller car. The back windows didn't roll down. So I'm sitting in the car. I'm counting. The dude walks up. Hey, let me get 40, whatever. Serve him. He walk away. So about 5-10 minutes, I'm turning again. I done put the shit in the seat counting. I'm dumb to the motherfucking fact. As my nigga would say, dumb to the fucking fact that I'm counting the shit in the seat. Nigga walked to the car. He said, hey, let me get 40. It was 40. 20, 40, something like that. So I turned because I have the rocks in the seat. So I turned to get the rocks. When I turned back, it's a gun at my head. Boom. Give me everything. I'm like, fuck. Like, oh man, you don't gotta do this here shit, man. Here. And I grabbed the motherfucking rocks that's in the seat and I, like, here, nigga. And I give them to him, but I kind of throw them through the window right here, nigga. So the nigga, he got the gun to my head, he grabbed, I have a chain on. So he feel the chain and he keep going down to my pocket. It's like he passed over it and went to my pocket, got my keys out the car, at the ignition, threw them out the window. But at the time, the money that I had been making, I was putting in my shoe. So he couldn't get the money that he was patting on my pockets. Nigga, back then, nigga didn't carry no wallet or none of that shit. You just kept your money. So when he go back up and feel my chain again, he reached in my shirt and grabbed the chain. When he grabbed the chain, to me, he had took everything else. He had took the rope, he had took the keys. The chain was the last one before he gonna shoot me. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. And he was gonna shoot me after that. So when he grabbed the chain, I swung with my right hand and like grabbed the gun. When I grabbed the gun, the nigga shoot. Boom. And when he shoot, I guess the first one was in my neck. Boom. And I fall in the motherfucker and I can feel the other ones. I can feel the other shots. Like my body is jumping. It's like I'm in a different, like, different ear. I don't know, a different realm. I could feel them. I can hear it. I wasn't feeling anything. I was knowing I was getting hit because my body was jumping. I could hear the shots. I could see the flashes, but I wasn't feeling anything. I don't know what the time zone goes into it or how far it passes in, or how long it takes, or how you want to put it that way. The next thing I know is I'm basically looking at myself in the car. It's like I'm above my body. I can see my body laid across the seat of the car. Like for a hot second, it wasn't that long. I just remember me laying across the seat. Then it's like a snap of a finger. I was raising up. I didn't open my eyes laid down in the seat. I didn't open my eyes sitting straight up in the seat. I opened my eyes in the middle of me waking up, like sitting up in the middle of it. And I opened my eyes like, damn. Man, I think I got, my mind, I'm saying, I think I got fucking shot. And I'm looking to the to the right of me. My hat is sitting on the seat next to me. And in my mind, I'm saying, should I pick up my hat? Should I get out the car? Should I pick up my hat? Should I get out? That's how my mind is taking this all in. So I reach over with my right hand and grab my hat and put it on, and I couldn't move my left arm. So I just leaned like on the door, and the door was already open. Like I didn't have to pull the latch. I didn't have to do any of that. The door was fucking already open. I just turned in my seat and my feet hit the ground and the door was open. So I'm saying to myself, fuck, I got shot. I can't believe I fucking got shot. I look down on the ground between my legs and my chain is sitting right there. So I reach down, I pick up my chain, I put it in my pocket, I get out the car, I go to the end of the motherfucking car, and I'm sitting on the end of the car, and I'm like, fuck, I can't believe I got shot. This motherfucker shot me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you come in here with this bullshit there, block you. If anybody else got you first. So I'm sitting there for I don't know how many minutes I'm sitting there. So I know where I'm at. Like I realize, okay, my cousin only stayed 4 blocks. Let me get back to my cousin house. So I start walking. I walk down 65th, get to Budlong. When I'm near, it's a car rolling up the street. The dude in the car, the driver, he's looking at me. I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. And I can imagine what he's seeing from the outside. I don't know that I'm hit like this where I'm bleeding my whole shirt and all that. I'm just walking. So he just look at me. He keep rolling. So I just walk. I walk back to my cousin in house on 69th and Budlong. I get to, they stayed 2 houses from the corner, basically. I get there, I walk to the door. When I'm walking to the door, I hear the ambulance. So I must have been sitting in the car at my car for a minute because I hear the ambulance. I hear the sirens. I don't know it's the ambulance. I don't know what it is. So I walk back out the gate. I walk back to Budlong. When I'm walking back to Budlong, the ambulance passed me, but the fire engine was behind him. So the fire engine was starting to pass me when I got to the corner. I turned to the fire engine and just started waving my hand. The dudes that be sitting on the back of the fire engine seen me and told them, stop. The ambulance went around the corner or whatever. They relayed to the ambulance, go around the corner. Here he is. You know what I'm saying? So they jump off the back of the fire engine and they come to me and I'm like, it's like, are you all right? I was like, man, I think I got shot in the neck. You know what I'm saying? And they looking, you know what I'm saying? They can see the blood and all that on my shirt. And they looking. And so the dude pulled out some scissors and he cut my shirt. He was like, yeah, he got shot in the neck. Sit down. So the ambulance came and sat me on the back of the ambulance thing. And they was like, yeah, he got shot in the neck. And I'm just talking, man, I can't believe this motherfucker shot me, man. I can't believe this motherfucker shot me. You know what I'm saying? It was like, man, just don't, go into no shock or anything. And I was like, shock, man, the motherfucker shot me. You know what I'm saying? And that was the last thing. And basically, I remember saying that. The next thing I remember, I think they took me to what they call Killer King, is where they took me first. I woke up for a little bit in that hospital and I was out again. The next thing I know, I woke up in USC Medical Center, which is the county hospital downtown, the USC Medical. But I woke up fucking handcuffed to the damn bed. And I woke up like, what the fuck? How the fuck am I handcuffed to the fucking bed? Because the nigga, when I gave him the fucking dope after he pulled the gun, the nigga threw the shit back in the fucking car. So they found all the motherfucking rocks in the fucking car. Because this nigga threw the shit. That's why whatever he did, he panicked. The nigga that shot me panicked. Because he dropped my chain. I had that in my pocket. All the motherfucking dope he threw back into the fucking car. You know what I'm saying? And then they found the money in my shoe when they took all my shoe, when they took my clothes off. And I said that whole story is to say that is the last time I believed in religion of that form of what religion was. I believed in a higher being from that point on and never understood why I believed in that. That I don't believe in the Lord. I don't believe in none of that. Religion is not a factor in my thing. I know other people say you need to pray on shit and do, and I always believe it's a higher being. It's something higher. My potential to be here is more than just me giving people money in a church in a bread basket. for whatever reason, I don't know what the distance or the length of a person that's supposed to be here. Because I look at like my home, even after that. So even after me getting shot and all that, and I still have a bullet in my neck to this day, it made me berserk. I basically went berserk from that point on. Within 2 years, I was in the penitentiary all the way up to, like I said, level 4. I was basically berserk. If I already wasn't a little crazy, I was crazier than shit. But I didn't believe in it. I didn't believe in the thing, and I still don't. I believe in a higher being. I don't disrespect what a religion does. That's your own preference. I just believe that there's something out there more than us. I believe the technology shows us that there's more out there than just us. Just this planet, just us as humans. There's more. We won't learn it for probably, years until our afterlife. We won't know. But we also don't know when people say, hey, you going to heaven or hell. Nobody really knows that factor, what happens after we leave this body. We don't know. Only thing we can do is live the best of our lives now. Continue to look up because they telling us we here. We'll do a little bit more for y'all if y'all do for yourself. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson says, a monkey is us and a monkey have the same genetic makeup. We're just 3% smarter than an ape. So just think that there's another entity out there that's 3% smarter than us. They probably look at us like being an ape. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that, Brian Johnson. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody that came on here, man. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna try to keep the uplifting myself to do these type of lives, man, and talk about what we need to talk about extraterrestrially. I have other times that I like to talk about other things, but nothing seems to work out with me and make me feel any more prouder than trying to speak to a person to say, look up. Man, as crazy as you may think, it's something bigger and better than us, and they trying to tell us. If we allow our government to do whatever they want to, we'll have martial law in no time, like Russia is, like any other, like Iran, different factions of it. Another thing, look out for another chess game. I'm looking for somebody that's willing to step up and play some online chess. That'll be the next video I try to do. I doubt if I'll be on Sunday. The Steelers play. Unless they win big and I come on later on that night. But I doubt it. I'll probably be adrenaline high off the Steeler game. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate, once again, everybody that came through. Hopefully we can keep it going. Hopefully I can get more people subscribed, more people looking at this, more likes. You know what I'm saying? If not, it's not a problem, man. I'm going to continue what I do for those that are getting awoken. I appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to all my Pomona niggas. South with it. You know what I'm saying? Until the next live, peace out to all of y'all, man. Take it easy.